You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
See if we can hear the music.
And welcome, everybody, to the Liberty Collaborative Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Bowman. Here along with me is Chris Coyle from Wins Lab, K. Carl Smith, the Frederick Douglass Republican, and Mike Hancock, the Undercurrent. I screw that up every time on Substack. It's been a heck of a morning, fellas. How are you?
Doing good.
Great morning. Great morning.
So I named this topic or this show just 30 seconds ago. What the heck is going on? So we've got a lot to talk about out of Connecticut, lots of stuff to talk about nationally. So I will kick it off to you guys because I got to find this video clip of this young gentleman speaking out at the state legislative building yesterday about why homeschooling is so important. I don't know how old this kid is, but he is going to be, I think, the next politician.
Wow.
Well, let's hope he's a elected official first and a politician second.
There you
Correct. Yes.
So, guys, I will, and maybe you talked about this last thing, but just kind of bounce this off you guys. And that is I want to hearken everyone back to, remember Donald Rumsfeld?
Sorry, I just said that the package was delivered.
And
Yeah, it's
Donald
Rumsfeld. I haven't
Rumsfeld
gotten it yet.
used to say, I think it was a
Okay,
press
I'll get it.
conference
I'm on the
during
phone. All right, bye.
war operations, and he was asked questions. He said something like that, like, I can't believe the lack of quality of these questions, the absolute superficiality of your questions. And we've heard other people say that. Well, fast forward to this Iran conflict. So people are noting that some people call it a war. I think a war is when actually two sides are fighting, not just one. Interesting use of terms. Others, of course, debating whether the president has authority, even though they supported multiple presidents doing similar things. So the thing I find fascinating is that the very victims of this jihadist terrorist group that has run this country for 40 plus years, how many people are talking about the victims or getting the people to fire up and rally up and say it's dangerous, but fighting for freedom is worth it? I don't know. Anyway, over to you guys.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I mean, folks that I've spoken with always leave out the fact that over a 2-day period, 30,000 of the citizens of Iran were killed by this what I would call evil regime. They always leave out like all the negative stuff, and they position the United States, in particular Trump, as being a bully, right? And they totally ignore the 40 plus year history of this regime, like literally killing our soldiers, our innocent people all over the world, but they just focus on, as you say, America bad, Trump bad, and be careful because they've got some secret weapon that they're going to pull out all of a sudden and just destroy everything. So we shouldn't do anything.
Well, you're exactly right. That's why it's so important when you hear something come from the media, you got immediately have a critical mindset and do your own homework the best way you can and find out what are the facts, because they have an agenda that they're pushing, and it's to make Trump look small, like a buffoon, and he's not capable of being a leader, and we're doing the wrong thing. But when you do your homework, you're going to find out exactly what you just said, Mr. Hancock, is that there's been some issues with Iran for 47 years.
Yeah.
And when you threaten your enemy, which is Israel, which is our ally, you're going to wipe them out of the face of the earth. Pretty soon, you're going to have to prove that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what's going on. So
Aaron,
why wait?
The tragic rise of anti-Semitism and the people trying to pretend they're not because they want the Jewish vote. But you say it again, these same liberals, do you understand that they're throwing people who wear tie-dye T-shirts like the ones you have on with body tattoos and, all that, they're throwing them off buildings to see if they'll fly? right? They don't. Whereas in Israel, a black lady from Ethiopia could go to Israel, become a Jew, get a job, and meld into society. And we have this society that's the most advanced in the whole region, is successful and prosperous and free. And everyone keeps saying, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. And you're going, how can you even be credible when you're so avoiding the truth?
Yeah.
Aaron,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I agree. I'm trying to multitask and it's
Yeah,
not working
no
very
worries.
well. I'm sorry. I got to insert this music into the radio show.
Yeah.
Little three Dogs Night, old fashioned love song.
Well, Michael, back to you and stuff. You're dealing with what has been a ebb and flow of politics in your area, and you've described not just a Democrat, but really far left-leaning politicians who are making statements, saying things that aren't true, really trying to do things, it sounds like, weaken law enforcement. I'll put it that way. There are a ton of ways to do it. In your community, how are they messaging and using this Iran war locally to leverage?
Did you ask me that question?
Actually, to Michael.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I didn't see it.
Man, we're a hot mess today.
I was watching Aaron.
Michael, you and
What-
Stephanie are surrounded by these wackos.
Oh yeah.
And so how are they using the Iran war? And if so, how?
Well, the thing is that I actually haven't heard much about that here because there's so many other crazy things going on that that hasn't really come up in any of the city council meetings or in the state house. I think I told you guys before the progressives were attempting to try to pass a bill that legalized prostitution. Well, thank goodness that went down in flames just the other day. But
Did they use the word prostitution?
Yes.
Wow.
What's the rationale behind that, Michael? Because it's the longest occupation in the history of the world. I mean, what is it? We should deny them that opportunity to make money.
Well, it's very much like the same logic that they use to legalize marijuana, which is, well, you legalize it and there will be less of a criminal
Yeah. Right.
And so what we've seen here is that they legalize marijuana. The revenue from marijuana sales has fallen dramatically, while the black market for marijuana is thriving. So it's that same sort of, legalizing it will make things better, but what actually ends up happening is that it just makes things worse.
You know why they're really doing it, Michael?
Why is that?
You know what? Because this is how the left operates. They want to do it because they want to tax the income.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course they do.
They want to tax the income.
But
It's all
That
about
could get
taxes.
really interesting, Michael and guys. Hey, that was a great session with Brunhilde. I paid double. Oh, increase in taxes. Let's get more of them and longer sessions.
And you know what? That's why that song said it's hard out here being a pimp. You tax the income and you got some problems.
oh, geez.
Leave the people alone, man. Don't make it a
So what's so
a
funny
career
in this
opportunity
baby, guys,
for people.
they legalized marijuana, and if you can get your head around this, they had a program where they wanted to direct the dispensaries, the retail dispensaries, to justice-oriented communities, i.e., in our poor areas.
What does that mean, Michael? What is that? Justice or oriented community. What is that?
So you look at this word salad, meaning you're going to put drug retailer outfits in the poorest, it just boggles the mind. So, Carl, it reminds me of the Frederick Douglass story of the slave owners happy they were drinking alcohol on Sunday and getting drunk. They all, because it distracted them from everything else. I think all this is really a way of oppression.
Oh, it is.
You
It
keep
is.
people, keep promising them stuff, Aaron, like our state, keep them high, drugged, whatever.
And vote the
by
same
the
way.
if they own a firearm, can't have that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things that I observe is that, you know, they pass these things to under the disguise of raising more tax income, but what they ultimately end up doing is creating an environment where the value of property is being destroyed, where businesses are being destroyed. A lot of this stuff attracts, in the case of here in Colorado, homeless people, right, where they're supporting the idea of creating more homeless encampments and putting public toilets and showers on the streets, right? And this is all done out of so-called compassion. But holy moly.
What's
Sam.
that? Aaron, you running a dog fighting ring over there?
That's not me.
No, that was me.
Oh,
See, the dog's even pissed off about it.
Yeah,
at
that's
least
right.
all our viewers at home know we're the real thing. There's no Hollywood scripting here. We're not.
No.
There's no green room.
No.
There's no studio.
So I found that video that I wanted to play. This kid is 15 years old. His name is Samuel Turner. And this kid crushed it at because we have in our state and everywhere else, everybody's got these bills being raised. And hopefully you guys can hear this. Let me know if you can't. But this kid just crushed his testimony. So I just want to play this real quick, and I want to get the three of you your feedback on this. All right. Oh, it's on mute, Aaron. That's not going to help any, is it?
How many minutes is it?
It's fairly short. I think they only have 3 minutes to speak. So just give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear it.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm sincerely thankful that you have given me the opportunity to testify today. My name is Samuel. I have been raised in Connecticut all the 15 years of my life by my wonderful parents. My mom's right over there. When I was 4, my parents decided to homeschool me instead of sending me to public school. I can testify from my own experience that it has not only been a beneficial decision for me and my 3 brothers, it has been one that has truly blessed us in every comprehensible way. I've been able to spend immeasurably more time with my brothers, parents, grandparents, and friends than I would have if my parents had sent me to conventional school. Also, my parents have provided me and my brothers with a truly wonderful education. Some of the prominent projects that my schoolwork has entailed are a science fair, a mock trial, and a policy debate. My parents have never failed to give their all to provide for our every need. They have never maliciously hurt us, wounded us, left us, or done any other reprehensible deed to us. I am truly thankful to God for my wonderful parents. I oppose House Bill 5468 for 3 main reasons. First of all, God gave me to my parents and not to the state. God gave me to my parents, and thus my parents have the authority to school me and raise me. For Connecticut families, homeschooling is an act of love to invest in their children. It is my parents' God-given right to raise me and not the state's. Second, I believe House Bill 5468 opens the door for the state to force future unwanted agendas upon children, encroaching upon the God-given rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not to mention freedom of religion. Students of any kind must be trained to think for themselves and not to have a state agenda mercilessly imposed upon them. And this leads me to the last reason that I oppose this bill. Why are homeschoolers being targeted? We all know, no matter what party we come from, that homeschoolers are a threat to an extremist agenda. We do. Does it seem strange to you that homeschoolers are being targeted? It shouldn't. This bill is a power play. If the homeschoolers are controlled, power is secured for those who desire to rule the state and families. I want to leave you today with this question. Who has more power, the state or the people? Perhaps the best way to answer this question is to quote Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Representatives, you must obey the voice of.
So that's his.
Wow,
that was
that's great.
That was amazing. 15-year-old.
Absolutely. Wow.
man.
Well, that's the power of homeschooling, man.
Yeah.
You get a chance to master things in homeschooling. Public schools don't do that. I'm dealing with this issue right now. I got a 14-year-old son. He'll be 15 this summer. And it's not just one subject they don't master. They don't master any subject.
No.
Right.
Maybe
so
gender identity, maybe.
yeah, he go to a private Christian academy, but the problem is, and I just had this conversation with the headmaster yesterday. I was dealing with math. I said, you teach a concept maybe for a week and a half, you test them on it, okay, then they get a 70 on it, which is passing, and they don't see those problems again, maybe 2 or 3 times for a week and a half. That's not mastering. That's familiarization. And so I said, look, I told this mom, I said, we got to get him out of there. I said, look, I can get himself a homeschool, and then we can make it where if you want to participate in sports, we can do some type of arrangement. We got the Tebow bill that's out there that help for homeschool. So I agree with that. But you know, when I listen to this kid speak, he obviously read the Douglas versus Marx debate in the book, because that's Douglas right there. That's Douglas.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was great.
you know, Kay, Carl, and Michael, Aaron, I read quite a bit about this, and I would recommend to our listeners, everyone, check out the book Range by David Epstein. He was a Sports Illustrated writer. And what he talks about is this very thing, that mastering content is not memorization and regurgitation, which public schools pretty much are, and they're not doing a good job at that. It's application. It's problem solving. You look at China, you know why they're doing so well? Students have to apply the math. They have to actually live it. So what these books and others point out time and again is you may have people memorize, regurgitate, they get a good grade. When they test in clinical settings, another group that's doing mastery versus memorization, they actually score lower on the tests that come after. But guess what? Wait a month. The first group of students that got an A can't remember a damn thing. The group B scored very, very well, much higher. So retaining stuff for life is taking your own tests, applying it, failing, working it. Okay, Carl, you couldn't be more accurate. And that's what homeschooling does.
Here's another part of that. So think of psychologically how it damages the child who thinks he's done something and achieved it, and find out you really don't know it, and they think there's something wrong with them. But it's the teaching style is the problem. Because I told you, when my brother's starting his school, he said, first thing I'm doing, I'm getting rid of grades. Either the go or no go. And you're going to stick to it until you master it. And it's a quote coming from my famous football coach in the history of college football, Nick Saban. He said, don't do a task till you get it right. You do the task till you can't get it wrong. That's the difference.
Yeah. It's so important. Well, if I could, let's take that thread for a sec. I want to apply it back. You know, Kay, Carl, when I first met you and I listened to your great speeches, and one of the things you talk about.
I had hair back then.
What's that?
I had hair back then.
Yeah. Well,
on this side, not up here.
Hey, Carl, you know, we're talking about politics, Michael, and your stuff, you know, Aaron, right now in our state, but you talk a lot about discussions with family and friends. And what I find is when you even try in a family context, as I did the other night, didn't turn out well, by the way, to raise questions about the application, not the memorized knowledge or regurgitation, but hearing people, smart people, restate what professors say as if it's the truth.
Yeah.
And you say, well, let's get into it. So there's this taboo now on talking about anything that is anywhere political, and that disagreement is viewed in families as not good.
Yeah.
Like, don't go there, avoid it. And I'm going, if you avoid these conversations, your own family, where are you going to go?
That's right. You got to tell us about that conversation that you had. Maybe we can.
Oh, baby.
Mike and I will do some coaching with you right now. So go ahead, get on the couch, face up, and tell us what's going on.
I need an intervention, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: when you're at the dinner table and you hear your literally honor student say in a history course about the recording of history that, quote, all governments filter and manipulate and, you know, try and direct what's written down about their history. And I went, wait, what? All governments? All governments. I said, well, let me just test that. We're in the most free government in the world. We invented what's called the First Amendment. It was the first. And we've got everything from Frederick Douglass writing accounts, Indians writing their experience. We have the most 360-degree culture of freedom. And it was really oppressive regimes that tried to censor a few years ago. But yeah, do governments try and put out a spin about things, their view? Of course they do, like everyone else, but you've got everyone else putting out a counter narrative that's so I was fascinated that someone would do the we're all equal, the equivalency trap. We're all the same. We all try and you mean we're the same as Russia and China? I think not. So it didn't go better from there.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, Chris, is that I too, over the last week, have had a similar conversation with a couple of different people where they fundamentally believe that, well, the history is told by the victor, right? And the fact of the matter is that, well, no, that's not true. If you take a look at Stalinist Russia, yes, that's true. If you take a look at Maoist China,
right?
Yes, that's true, but that is only true under totalitarian governments. Right?
But guys, here, Michael, if I could, the thing that's scary is what K. Carl said is learning and failing is uncomfortable. Doing things right is uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. It's not good for your ego. It at least doesn't feel good at the time, but it's the way to become better. So being able to participate in debates and not sort of one up people or use emotion, start crying, or, God, if our kids can't sustain debates on sort of objective fact, then, that's just the lack of debate. So back to you guys, Aaron, in public school, there is no debate. And Lord help you if you tried to espouse what that kid did in a school.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
I mean, they do have debate club, which my daughter did not make it into, I think, because of her last name. But that, there are those clubs, and they do have some stuff. But again, I think you're all right. It is a very stark difference between my kids that go to school, public schools, and then my friends that homeschool. It is a stark difference, education wise, and the homeschoolers get to explore the things the topics that really interest them, and they thrive in that. I mean, obviously you could see it with that young man as he sat there in front of that council and talked to everybody.
In school, what you get groupthink, right? You have the professor there basically indoctrinating them on some particular aspect of history or whatever. And you've just got to agree with that and then take that out into the world and repeat it. And that's what I see, is that there's this default sometimes to, well, a lot by the people that do this, to the authority. They basically take whatever the expert says, and that's what they're going with. And I find that they don't rarely ever do their real research or even ask questions as to whether what they are saying is true or not. It's just being repeated. Yeah. And then what you have happening is that social media amplifies that in dramatically.
Yeah, I agree. The key word is, the key word is, Chris, in terms of the conversation you had with that loved one and what they have to say. What a lot of people miss out, there's no perfect government, no perfect country.
Right.
But one thing you can say about America, we have improved. Some countries have not improved, and that's the key word. And that's because of our Constitution, things we believe in, what's built into it. We haven't lived up to it. That's a challenge.
There's a public consciousness, K. Carl. I agree with you. We really do, as much as our mainstream media is so biased today, there's an amazing group of people that kind of will call out all sorts of ideas. But when those ideas are shut down within the family, you can't debate that. It's too bad. So
yeah.
Well, fellas, we're at the 25-minute mark. It was a very interesting show today. We had a lot of good laughs. I needed a few laughs after some of the stuff going on this morning. But yeah, it's very interesting how everything is unfolding around us, and it's for those who stay abreast of what's going on, not just nationally, but within your town, within your state. It is completely overwhelming with the amount of garbage that is thrown at us on a daily basis, and how we have to just keep swinging our bat and knocking it out of the park, because this whole push to just change everything and get rid of our history is ridiculous. Like, I think it's Connecticut, right, Chris, that has the bill that was raised to teach Islamic studies in school now to get rid of Islamic phobia. But yet in my town, Mansfield, Connecticut, our 8th graders, when they leave and go to the regional high school, 30% cannot read at grade level.
Wow.
And we're spending $27,000 per student.
Wow.
And now they want to teach something else when they don't have enough time to teach math, reading, writing, the basics. You can't hone the basics. You can't learn other stuff. And, their answer is just throw more money at it. So it's tough out there. It is just trying to keep track of everything and fighting and finding good people to run for office and fight. That's the other hard part, is finding people to do the job,
Yeah.
100%.
And as
I'm I'm in a meeting. What's up?
I'll just mute K. Carl for a second. And as Chris puts it, you got to build these candidates. They don't just jump out of a cake, right, Chris?
Yeah,
That's how you put it. So
I'll say, to have these podcasts, guys, really thankful to all of you. Aaron, for you for being our master control operator. And I hope people listening will ask us questions, suggest topics, and share our podcast with others. We'd love to get this dialogue going, because our original thing, guys, was to provide more context, more content, and historical perspective. And these are unprecedented times, and we are really facing a deluge, a tsunami of lies, misinformation, and just really no longer hidden, all-out efforts to destroy what our country represents. And I think people have got to admit it. And what do you say, K. Carl? Face it, fight it, fix it. That's the motto.
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I said, K. Carl, I'll take you off mute. My bad. There
Okay,
you go,
we got this midterm coming up, but we got to face it, fight it, fix it. If not, we're gonna be in a world of hurt after this midterm.
Yep.
Right on.
Big issue.
Yep.
Michael.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that we've got to do is continue to do more of what we've been doing, which is telling the truth, standing up, helping people understand how to be persuasive in making their arguments and winning over people. You're absolutely right. Sometimes you get folks like the person in your family that you spoke of, that they're so locked into believing what it is that they've been trained to tell people, that you can't change those minds, but we've got to keep trying. In fact, I was at a meeting last night that was really great. It was a forum here by an organization called Douglas County Citizenry, and it was a forum with all the mayors in Douglas County, right? And you had a great group of people there talking to them, and it struck me that we need to have more forums like that, where you're getting the people in those leadership positions all together in a certain county or whatever, and have people there to ask some questions and to figure out how things work, because most people don't have a clue how governing actually really works.
Boy, so well said.
Yeah, and I'm just going to close with this, because I made this post. And first of all, for those of you who are watching online, I do my best to try to upload all the audio to Spotify and other outlets. Go to the YouTube page. You'll have all of our videos on there. You can listen to the audio there. It's probably just an easier way to get a hold of us and find us. But I have a Facebook page that, when I was running for office, was kind of like my political platform. I've now moved that into more of an activist role, I guess you could say. And so I posted the other day about a couple of these bills coming up, and for people to put in written testimony or they could sign up to talk in front of the council or the committee like that young man did. And so just to give you an idea of the insight on how some of the people on the other side think, and I wrote about these two bills, two specifically that had to do with public health and vaccination, and basically taking all the power of vaccine schedules and putting it under one person's thumb in the state. And this is what I got a response for, because it's taking a lot away the local control and parents, what parents can do. And this is what I got. Regarding HB 5044 and SB 450, would you prefer that there are major outbreaks of measles and other preventable infectious diseases in our schools? This is already happening in several states. They don't see the bigger power grab. They don't understand that you have a right to decide your bodily autonomy, right? You know, my body, my choice. Where did that all go to? And it's funny how they only focus on one small granular piece of it. And then they try to make it look like you don't want vaccines for anybody. When all we're saying is, hey, these bills take your decision-making capability away from you and tell you, as somebody in the state of Connecticut, that if you want to work or send your kid to school, this one person has all the power. That was not an elected official, mind you. They're provided this job, and they're the ones that are going to tell you what to do. So it's interesting to see the insight of the others. And we got another comment here. Just saw that you were on. I just enabled my notifications. I always enjoy the show. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. For that nice
Yay,
comment,
JR.
We
There's a
appreciate
true
it.
patriot for you, hard worker. Hey, Aaron.
Yes,
Just-
sir.
A little history here, and this is for JR. When George Washington crossed the Delaware, right, being chased by 20,000 Hessian and British troops, he got the famous Thomas Paine to write a speech, and in it he used the term summer soldiers and sunshine patriots. And those who stand up, who really get out there and lead, it's hard. And JR is one of those leaders, a little town called Brooklyn, Connecticut. So we got to inspire more of them. And guys, obviously, Kate Carl, you, Michael, and your community in Colorado, Aaron, you and I are doing, it ain't comfortable, guys. It's work.
Yep.
And you got to build thick skin. And the good thing about getting beat up, Aaron, as we know, is that your skin does thicken.
That is true. Well, gentlemen, unless you have anything else, I guess we can end it here because I've got an appointment I got to run to. And I'm going to have to teach you guys how to do this back end stuff. So if
Yes.
I can't make it, one of you guys can do that.
All right.
Oh, we got one
Well,
more
I'm
quick
gonna
comment.
designate you, sir, as the next most technical. Okay,
Yes.
Carl, sorry, no offense intended. I'm taking myself off the list. I'll put it that way.
All right, gentlemen. Well, it was good seeing you all. And for everybody, we'll be back here next Thursday from starting at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, right? That is the time. So appreciate you guys being here.
Take care.